Hello, everyone. I'm Janelle Mose, the Advocacy Director with AARP North Dakota. AARP has been working to promote the health and well-being of older Americans for more than 60 years. In the face of the global coronavirus pandemic, AARP has canceled all of our in-person events until the end of the year, but we're finding other ways to continue to provide information and resources to help older adults and those caring for them. The coronavirus may have put large parts of our lives on hold, but there's one event it won't delay: the 2020 election. AARP North Dakota has been fighting to protect 50-plus voters. We are working diligently with local elected officials to ensure all North Dakotans can vote safely, and we're here today to tell you about your voting options. If you have questions on voting absentee, voting early, or voting safely on Election Day, you're in the right place. With me today is Erica Johnsrud, the McKenzie County Auditor and Treasurer, and Donnell Preskey Hushka from the North Dakota Association of Counties to provide us details on how you can vote safely in November. Erica and Donnell, good morning, and thanks for joining me today.
Good morning.
So last Thursday, Donnell, September 24th, was the first day voters could cast their absentee ballots. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right. So ballots are starting to filter into the county auditor's offices. If you requested a absentee ballot when you applied for a ballot in June, you should have received your envelope with your application in it. You could still request to vote absentee by going to vote.nd.gov. That's where you can enter your information to get an application. And for those of you that don't have internet access or just feel more comfortable calling your county auditor, that of course is an option as well. I want to point people to the ndaco.org website. In there, there's a tab to find your county official, and you can locate your county auditor's email and phone number that way. Of course, our auditors, especially this year, are really encouraging voters to request an application to vote absentee because of the coronavirus. In order for you to request that absentee, they're asking for you to request it by mid-October, which is right around the corner. I know it's the end of September here, but it is coming up quickly. Complete and return your application in a timely manner. Plan to get your ballot in the mail a week before the election. It's really important to try to keep those deadlines in mind. In June, 80% of our absentee ballots were returned. And you know that really sounds like a great number. But what that means is that there were 40,000 voters that were mailed a ballot after requesting one, and then they didn't turn it in. And so this really exemplifies the importance of planning ahead for voting.
I think those are excellent points to know. In North Dakota, obviously, we make it as easy as possible with our no excuse absentee ballot process. So I think it's right in the fingertips of voters if they want to get that ballot at home. So Erica, have you seen an increase in the number of requests for absentee ballots in McKenzie County?
We have. So in the general election in 2018, we processed about 1,600 applications for mail ballots. We've already processed over 2,000 for this election itself, and we're starting to get them returned. Anticipate seeing those coming in here, and they continue to go out. We've had a lot of interest and applications coming in.
So that's really good news. You know, I think we've been really making sure that if our members and voters 50 plus want to vote from home, they can do that, and we're going to make it as easy as possible. And it sounds like McKenzie County, they've really seen an uptick in the increase in requests so far. So do you have tips for voters that are choosing to vote absentee in November? For example, if voters need assistance with their ballots, where can they go for help, Erica?
Sure, absolutely. The best thing is to make a plan and start. We encourage everyone to start now and figure out what their plan is going to be. Calling your county auditor, we're your best advocates in knowing where and when and what and all of the information that you need. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. If anyone needs assistance with their ballots, all of the counties have to have at least one voter assistive device up in our offices. We have those. They're very easy to use, and they will walk voters right through voting their ballot. But really, vote.nd.gov is a great website where people can go and get information on where they vote, how they vote, who to talk to, what a sample ballot looks like. But really, make sure that you call your county auditor if you have any questions.
Well, it sounds like you really do enjoy this part of your job, Erica. It sounds like voting is something that's super important to you. And so I know we've heard a lot of concerns, in the media about delays in mail delivery, long lines at polling locations, lack of staffing at polling locations. What steps is McKenzie County taking to address some of those concerns? Do you have more polling locations, extended voting? How are you hoping to protect poll workers if they choose to help out on election day?
Sure. So we have the same number of voting locations that we had in 2018. We have 3 vote centers where anyone in the county can come and vote. In those polling locations, we've really, to protect our poll workers, we've ordered sneeze shields and face masks and face shields and gloves and hand sanitizer. We'll also have hand sanitizer available for any voters that come in person, encouraging our voters to also wear face masks. And then, making sure people are remembered to socially distance. We have increased the number of clerks that we'll have at our election places. So you'll be hoping that we can get you through that line more quickly to get your ballot so that we can reduce all of those touches. And also the Secretary of State's office ordered individually wrapped pens for every voter who votes in person. So we'll be able to issue everyone their own pen to take with them when they leave on election day.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I think what we're encouraging voters to do is make a plan, and it does sound like your county and other counties across the state have definitely made plans to both protect the poll workers as well as those that are choosing to vote in person. So that's fantastic. Donnell, are there other steps that the Association of Counties has taken in order to either promote absentee ballot or offering safe options to vote both in urban centers, but also we often, know that voting is often a challenge in more rural and remote counties?
Well, the Auditors group is a very close-knit group. They collaborate very often through email, and then we also have meetings and web conferences. And they, in July, just had a workshop where Erica was a panelist along with some other auditors, sharing ideas for best practices for the November election. And really, Erica highlighted a lot of those concepts and best practices. So you'll see a lot of those being used throughout the state. Statewide, we will see a 50% reduction in polling locations on election day from 2018. And that is a direct result in the situation we're dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of those polling locations that counties are utilizing in many cases are in larger facilities. So they've moved them to spaces that will better accommodate for social and physical distancing at the poll sites. And then a lot of those counties have also made the decision to make those poll locations vote centers, meaning an individual can vote at any of the locations in their county, not just at their precinct. And so that's going to help people as well be able to choose the right spot that is appropriate for them. But again, because so many of our counties have different situations, it's so important for our voters to find out what those options are in their county. Not all counties are offering early voting or vote centers. So residents need to find out what is being offered in their county.
And folks that are watching online, you can see on the bottom of your screen, the best resource for you to access is vote.nd.gov. So I think it's really interesting the steps that the counties have taken, Donnell. Are there additional things that you're doing in order to ensure enough poll workers are available to staff those locations, especially in urban centers, as you talk about these different steps you've taken to increase access to voting in person?
Yeah, finding enough poll workers is a real struggle for our counties across the state. Many of our poll workers are in the age group that are more susceptible to COVID-19. Our auditors started the process even earlier of reaching out to poll workers that they have used in the past. Really, that is one primary reason for the reduction in polling locations across the state and the increase of counties using vote by mail is because of the difficulty that they may experience in finding poll workers. If you are interested in becoming a poll worker, make sure you contact your county auditor and see how they can maybe utilize your help. It's not even really about those poll workers that day that they need to find, but they also need to find backups. You need to train those people as well, because if 2 days before the election, you have a lot of the times we'll have couples, if they've been exposed or find out they're a close contact, or maybe they find they realize that this isn't just something that they feel comfortable with anymore, then you need to have somebody to fill that spot. So finding backups and also folks to sanitize those polling locations. So we need more people, even though we're having less locations.
That's excellent. I think we all know the importance of having a backup plan in the days that are in front of us, always having an idea what to expect. And I know that with poll workers, we want to make sure that we have enough backups. So Erica, is there any other tips that you have for voting absentee or resources that you'd like to share with our viewers?
I would just like to reiterate to everyone out there what the deadlines are for those of you that are voting by mail or absentee. So November 2nd, which is the day before the election, make sure November 2nd, the day before, you either have to have your ballot postmarked that day or return it. You can return it in person to your county auditor's office, or all of us have at least one secure ballot drop box throughout our counties. That information is available at vote.nd.gov. Those have to be returned by 5 p.m. Central Time that day. So November 2nd, either postmark that day or by 5 p.m. And again, just reach out to your county auditor if you have any questions. We're here to help you, and we'll help you figure out what your plan may be if you have any questions.
That's great. I think we've got that date marked on our calendar. And again, you can find those important dates and deadlines on vote.nd.gov. Donnell, anything else that you'd like to close out, tips that you have for our viewers regarding voting?
Sure. We have more counties this year that are vote by mail counties. 42 of the 53 will be vote by mail in the general election. And what this means is that those vote by mail counties, they are required to have at least one voting location open on election day. And at a minimum, all the active voters that are in their county in their database will be sent an application for a ballot. Really, in summary and bottom line here is that it's so important for voters to know that they have options to vote and vote safely in the general election. And we encourage them to make a plan. They can vote early in many counties. They can vote absentee or vote by mail, or vote in person on election day.
Wow, you both have given such great advice for our viewers, and I thank you for spending time with us today. Just a quick reminder for all of you watching online, you can check out our special election page at aarp.org/ndvotes. You can also find important updates about voting on facebook.com. AARP North Dakota. You can like our page and you can see a lot of things coming to you in the near future, not only about voting, but preparing for the legislative session and a lot of other events that we're hosting here online. You can also check out other upcoming events at our website at aarp.org/nd. Thanks again, Donnell and Erica, for joining me, and thanks all of you for joining us. Please stay connected with us here online. Stay safe and don't forget to vote.